What's the funniest eviction story you've heard? Derek had blown his rent money on a failed cryptocurrency called Moon Pizza that crashed 99% in 3 hours. Instead of admitting this, he'd crafted an elaborate lie about Mr. Bubbles, a goldfish he'd never owned. The trauma bond was too deep, Derek told our landlord, Mrs. Chen, while fake crying in her office. Mr. Bubbles was my only family. I need professional help to process this loss. Mrs. Chen, who'd already given Derek 2 extensions this year, wasn't buying it. A goldfish? You need therapy for a goldfish? He was a therapeutic animal. He helped with my anxiety. Goldfish aren't recognized emotional support animals. That's discrimination against aquatic companions. Derek doubled down. He created a whole backstory for Mr. Bubbles. Rescue goldfish, survived a pet store fire, had one damaged fin that made him swim in circles. He printed fake veterinary records, made a memorial Instagram account with stock photos of goldfish, backdated 6 months. But Mrs. Chen wanted proof of the therapy. So Derek went on Craigslist and hired an out-of-work actor named Tony to play Dr. Morrison, aquatic grief specialist. Tony showed up to our apartment in a tweed jacket with elbow patches, carrying a briefcase full of pamphlets Derek had made at Kinko's. When your fish swims to heaven, gilving through loss, the 5 stages of reef. Mrs. Chen was suspicious immediately. What university did you attend, Dr. Morrison? The Pacific Institute of Fish Psychology. That doesn't exist. It's very exclusive. Derek jumped in. Dr. Morrison helped me realize Mr. Bubbles was more than a pet. He was my anchor in turbulent waters. Tony, who clearly hadn't memorized Derek's script, added, yes, the anchor, the golden anchor. Very traumatic when anchors die. Mrs. Chen pulled out her phone. I'm Googling you right now, Dr. Morrison. Panic. Derek quickly said Tony was underground because traditional therapy boards didn't recognize aquatic grief counseling. Tony, improvising poorly, claimed he'd been blacklisted by Big Therapy for his controversial fish mourning methods. What methods? Mrs. Chen asked. Water therapy, Tony said confidently. For grieving a fish, you sit in water to connect with their memory. That's called a bath. Derek then made his fatal error. He invited Mrs. Chen to Mr. Bubbles' memorial service that weekend, thinking she'd never attend. She showed up with her husband and a camera. The memorial was in our backyard. Derek had invited his gaming friends to pose as fellow grief support members. They stood in a circle around a fishbowl containing a carrot-painted orange meant to represent Mr. Bubbles. Derek gave a eulogy. Mr. Bubbles taught me that life is like a fishbowl. Sometimes you swim in circles, but it's still beautiful. His friend Brad, high and forgetting his role, asked loudly, wait, you had a fish? Since when? Since 2 years ago. Derek hissed. Bro, you're allergic to fish. You can't even eat sushi. Mrs. Chen started recording. Tony tried to salvage it by leading a traditional aquatic grief ritual, which involved everyone humming and waving their arms like seaweed. Mrs. Chen's husband, a marine biologist, pointed out that goldfish don't live near seaweed. The complete collapse came when Derek's mom called during the ceremony. On speaker. Derek, honey, did you lose all your rent money on that pizza crypto thing? Derek lunged for the phone. Mom, I'm at Mr. Bubbles' memorial. Who's Mr. Bubbles? You haven't had a pet since your hamster died in middle school, and you cried for a month about that. Mrs. Chen stopped recording. Derek, you have 24 hours to pay rent or start eviction proceedings. Derek, unbelievably, stayed committed. This is harassment of the bereaved. Tony chose this moment to break character. Look, lady, he paid me $50 to be here. I don't know anything about fish. I sell insurance. Derek turned on him. You're breaking therapeutic confidentiality. What confidentiality? You hired me yesterday. The mourners scattered. Brad took the fishbowl, thinking the carrot was edible. Mrs. Chen's husband was laughing so hard he had to sit down. Derek tried one last excuse. Okay, but the emotional trauma of this failed memorial means I need the rent money for actual therapy now. Mrs. Chen served the eviction notice that afternoon. Derek moved back with his parents, who made him get a job at PetSmart. He's not allowed to work in the fish section. Last week, he texted asking if I'd be a reference for a new apartment, claiming he's a reliable tenant who only moved due to pet-related trauma. I sent the landlord the memorial video. Derek now lives in a studio that doesn't allow any pets, not even fish.